Hey, what's going on, everyone? Good evening and welcome to the newest and latest and greatest edition of Let's Go Retro. So we'll fire up the time machine, crank it up real good, and we're going to jet back in time. So welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on another, what's going to be fantastic episode. Coach, what's up? Amy V, how's it going? Coaster Mom, Andrea, MJ, Danny, John V, Francisco, Pierce, Max, what's going on? Brian K, hope everyone is having a fantastic evening. So I'm in a little bit of a celebratory mood. So right out of the gate, I want to say thank you guys again so much for all the support. Today, as you may or may not have heard, we hit and actually surpassed the 450 milestone. So thank you to all of you. It's amazing. I've been over the moon all day today. Spain, CeeLo, welcome in. How's it going? So it's been a little while since we've turned back the clock. I know last time we looked at the career of Adam Sandler and we celebrated it and we had so much fun. Today, we're going to kind of go back to our roots of the show a little bit and talk some true retro stuff, because it's been a while since we've actually done that. And of course, wanted to have some fun with it. So first and foremost, as we get going, I do want to call out an AAU Triton. I believe I saw you here. AAU Triton is our current stream leader. And that's what you see down over here somewhere in the bottom corner. That little retro bar with the 1,000 points. That means Triton is the lead. So every time we get a new subscriber that joins in, boom, it's going to take off some health. Every time we get a tip donation, it's going to go in and it's going to take him down. And whoever knocks him out, takes out the remainder of his health, becomes the new stream lead. And the stream lead here has some added benefits. Not only do you get the pride and the glory of being the stream lead, but during our hockey streams, whoever is the stream lead come second intermission is going to have a personal invite to come on over and enjoy. Oh, Pierce, right out of the gate. Pierce doesn't even let me finish talking about the rules and he redeems the shimmy. Thank you, Pierce. So, okay, well, let's get it over with. A little shimmy to kick off the show, a little retro shimmy. Shimmy and shake and bake. Thank you, Pierce. Oh, man. So, as I was saying, whoever takes out the stream lead becomes a new stream lead, and on our hockey stream, second intermission, we'll get to come on and be our second intermission guest. And we don't have to talk about hockey. We could talk about anything, but it's an opportunity and a reward for you guys in supporting with the subscriptions and the donations to be the stream lead and come on the stream. So that's a little bit about what that new feature is. Now, for those of you who haven't been here for some of our hockey streams, you will earn points by being in the chat, talking through, maybe gambling a little bit, playing in the Canadian casino. And as Pierce just did, you'll have the ability to redeem your points to control the host. So of course, we have the shimmy, we have freeze, which makes the host have to freeze. We have the floss, and we have disco. So there's lots of fun stuff that you can redeem your points to have a good chuckle at the host. So those are kind of the ground rules. I think Streamlabs will put some commands in the chat and let you know what you need to do. And of course, if you're not sure and if you're concerned, just pose your question in the chat and whether myself or somebody here will definitely be able to answer it. Triton, does the stream boss replenish the health? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, the Macarena already. I forgot. We have the Macarena redemption. Man, you guys are hitting me fast and early. Okay, here's the Macarena. Whoa. All right. Wow. I had 2 redemptions straight out of the gate. This might be a really long stream. Or a short one, depending on how much energy I have. But it's just like the fun stuff we like to do. Oh my God, Coaster Mom, you're redeeming another one already? Okay, we'll have to see if it goes through. there's only a certain amount of the flosses and the discos out there. So, oh, Coaster Mom, floss is out of stock. Oh no. Oh no. So I guess we'll have to replenish that. And why do I have a feeling this stream is just going to turn into a dance party? That's okay. I'm going to figure out how to redeem my own points, make you guys have to dance. But I will give some credit to where credit is due. On our last hockey stream, where Triton was the, oh my gosh. Holy moly. I'm not going to get anything done tonight. Triton with the disco redeem. Oh man. Okay. Holy moly. Yeah, I'm doing the first one sitting down though. The sitting down one. Oh, and the freeze. And the freeze. Okay, we got the disco freeze. Disco freeze. Gotta wait for him to go away. Disco freeze. All right, and we're back. Holy moly. Okay, there's some disco moves. And I haven't even started yet. You guys are killing me. I love it. I love it. Whew. Is it getting hot in here? So what I wanted to do is go back and just talk about the way things used to be. And before we do, I actually have a question, because I know a lot of folks in here, this is the Disney content. I don't know why I did quotes, but this is the Disney content portion of the show. I know a lot of you have been to Disney before. And when we were there in 2017, when we returned home, they sent us a thing in the mail. And I didn't know if it was just like we randomly got it or if this is something they did for everybody. So maybe for those of you who have traveled to Disney in the last couple of years, we got this like hand-drawn Mickey Mouse little sketch. And on it, it says, thank you, your pal Mickey. And on the back, it came with a little note that I put in here that said, thank you. We hope you enjoyed your magical moments of your Walt Disney World vacation. It was our pleasure having you for a visit, and so we wanted to share our appreciation with the special print as our gift for you. Enjoy it as a dream, as you dream of your next visit. Hope to see you again real soon. This sketch was specifically created by senior character artist Don Ducky Williams. For over 3 decades, he has delighted millions with Disney character art for books, television, advertising, and collectibles. So I don't know if this was something like if other people have redeemed these things, or I was just curious because I haven't really known who else to ask. So I was just kind of out loud thought if somebody else has received anything like that, then I wouldn't feel as special. But I thought I'd throw it out there for the Disney content of the show. So just let me know if Andrea, you didn't get one. Okay, interesting. I was just always curious. So let's dive right in. So over the last couple nights, we were putting the kids to bed, and with everything going on, they're going back to school. They've asked me to tell them stories from when I was younger. At Tiffany's, I got a Joe Road sketch. Oh, cool. And so as I started telling them these stories, it really brought me back to what I wanted to do with this show to begin with. And that's just talk about the way things used to be. And host, when you were saying something about the hockey stream, I got sidetracked. Yeah, Triton, I was just saying that. Oh, you're right. Sorry, I got sidetracked. The last hockey stream when Triton came on as our stream lead, we didn't talk about hockey. Triton was such a good sport. Instead, he wanted to do double redemptions. So the two of us did the discos, the flosses, the shimmies. So I just wanted to give Triton the shout out for coming on and having some fun with us. Thank you, Triton. I knew I started a thought and then got bombarded with redemptions. But oh, Coaster, holy moly. Why do I have a feeling I'm not getting anywhere? 20 people in the stream, and I haven't been able to say anything but do shimmies. All right, here's the floss. Let me get my chair out of the way. I can't back up too far because I'm attached. There you go. Coaster Mom, there you go. All right. Whew. Can we start the show now? Can we start the show? Apparently we can't start the show yet. All right, Eleanor. Eleanor loves the shimmy. Eleanor gets me with the shimmy all the time. All right, there you go, Eleanor. All right. Whew. Anybody else before we get the show going? Thanks, Coaster Mom. Redeem, start the show. Okay, thanks, CeeLo. Okay, so as I was saying, I was telling them stories, and it really made me come back to think about where I wanted to take the show. And I first wanted to go way back. Way back. And some of you may recall certain things that I'm going to say. You may have gone through the same thing. So my great-grandmother, we used to go visit her in her apartment, and I'm out of breath. When you'd walk in the apartment, first of all, it was immaculate, right? Bright. They almost seemed like white, but they weren't. You know, beige carpets, white couches, furniture, everything immaculate in this tiny little apartment. And I don't know if you guys experienced this with some of your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, but when you walked into their places, they had like the plastic on the carpet, the runners, and the rule was you could only walk where the plastic runners were. So there was a beautiful apartment, and depending on where you wanted to go, you actually had to strategically think which path to get there because of those plastic carpets that were nailed down. And so it was actually like flat, but the rest of the carpet was like so plushy and gorgeous. And then, of course, you'd make your way into the living room area, and the couches were like covered in the plastic wrap. So back then, you know, it would be 90 degrees outside, and they didn't really have air conditioning, so the windows were open. But you'd sit on like the plastic, and every time you'd move, you'd stick to it. That's right, John. Plastic on the pillows. I don't understand the point of the furniture coverings. Now, I get it, right? I have kids. I have a microfiber couch. There's been lots of spills and drips in all this. And back then with those, I guess now they'd be considered antique couches. But doesn't it ruin it to like put it in the plastic? That's what I could never get. I know you don't want to ruin it by spilling on it or making it dirty, but when you're saran wrapping your couches, did that not ruin it just the same? I never understood. I never understood the purpose of what those wrappings were, or the floor runners. I loved it. The other thing that took me back when I was telling the kids the story about the floor wrappings is, and again, no disrespect to anybody whatsoever, but when you were going to visit the great-grandparents or the elderly, there was that smell, right? That, like, I don't know if it was a musty smell. I just considered it like the great-grandparent smell. You just walk in, you'd have the floor runners, you'd have the covered couches, and then there was that distinct aroma that you're like, you knew where you were, right? You knew you could walk anywhere with your eyes closed, and you get that aroma, and you knew, yep, okay, I'm at the great-grandmother's. Not the smell. Don't talk about the smell. Mothballs. Yes, MJ. That's exactly it. Spain. That's exactly it. That that smell of mothballs, and that's something kids today, they're not really gonna get to experience all that much. It was so unique. It was so unique. And I saw in the chat somebody put in there about the teacups. That is 100% true. There was always a cabinet full of teacups, and actually when my grandmother passed away a couple years ago, we were going through the kitchen and all the stuff. She had an unbelievable tea set, but nothing matched, right? Everything was a teacup and saucer, you know, that she probably got on this trip or this market or that market. And she had this huge teacup and saucer set. So I'm lucky I got a couple of those home, but it was fascinating that back then that was the big collectible. People would collect teacups and saucers. It was unbelievable. And when you look at today, and I kind of get it. Like back then, drinking tea, that was the very posh thing to do, I guess. MJ, I work with senior citizens, so I know the other old person smell. Oh no, MJ. Oh no. Uh, so tea, collecting those tea things, it was a big thing. I know when I was in my early 20s, I like to collect shot glasses, right? And I'm sure there are people out there that like to collect beer steins. So maybe I get it, right? Back then, tea was the thing, so people collected teacups versus big mugs or shot glasses. I know my Dina, my wife, is not watching, hopefully, but I know she's very big on on coffee mugs. Loves getting different types of coffee mugs and the Starbucks like tumblers. Just a little collection addict with those. But yeah, just talking about it, it reminded me of the couch wrappings and the floor runners and the teacups. And then I don't know about you guys, but with me, it was it was you go out on the balcony and it was all the seagulls, right? All the birds. And that was something so unique is you'd get there and it was always the seagulls outside, not the seagulls, the birds, the pigeons. That's what it was. And that was like a trip to great grandmother's house, right? It was the plastic, the stick and the farty sounds, the teacups, the pigeons. It just reminded me of such a different time, right? Because what else do? They read, they listened to music, and they played with pigeons. The pillows were always Dusty Rose. So true. You know what? Oh my God, Dusty Rose. I don't know if you can see kind of over here. Yeah, you can see here, this chair. So I have my grandparents' old dining room set, and that's exactly the chair is that Dusty Rose color. Oh God, that's so funny. That is so funny. So okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Everybody has had that type of experience. And then of course you start growing up a little bit, and as time moves on, right, you go from the great grandparents. How many dollies were at your grand? Oh, I don't remember, Dallas. I don't remember how many dollies there were, but I know when I got a little bit older and my grandparents moved from their house to their condo, it was very different. It was still immaculate. There were no floor runners. There were no, coverings on the couches, but lots of mirrors, right? Lots of mirrors. And maybe it was just that, I guess it was an 80s thing that everything was mirrors, that mirrored walls. You'd have cabinets with mirrors everywhere. And maybe it was the trend to make everything look bigger. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Sorry, I got excited. Okay, I missed where Dusty Rhodes came in, but I'm always good for a good Dusty comment. Yeah, so mirrors everywhere. And even in Florida, because they had a place in Florida, we go down and it was mirrors there too. Huge, huge wall of mirrors. They had the dining room set. The ceiling above the dining room was all mirrored with pot lights. I don't understand what the fascination was back then of mirrors. Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I shouldn't ask the question. Oh, I said Dusty Rose. Dusty Rhodes. I get it. I see it. All right. All right. So next time, every time I hear Dusty Rhodes, I think of the polka dots, which is another trend back then. Yeah. Ugly bathroom wall. Yeah. So weird. Like the tastes, right? The tastes and the fashion were just so bizarrely different. And I'm really glad that we've kind of come out of it where things have not been as in your face, but they certainly are at some people, right? Everybody has their own unique tastes. So I definitely wanted to talk through those trends a little bit and make sure I wasn't alone. So thank you. So one thing I haven't done for a long time is a little bit of show and tell. And we've talked about show and tell, and we did some show and tell in the early days. So I found a couple things when I was cleaning up upstairs that I thought were pretty cool. So I have this picture here. I don't know if it's dated. I don't think it's dated. So it's an actual printed picture from, like Kodak or something, back when we actually had cameras with film and you'd have to take the film to get developed. So this was, gosh, how old was I here? I was maybe 15. And this was for a picture from the very first party that I ever DJ'd. Excuse me. So it was just a basement party, and there's a backstory here. I'm going to share it to you, show it to you, not share it to you. So have a good chuckle. This was, so if I was 15, this would have been 92, somewhere 92. Maybe I wasn't 15. 92, 93, somewhere in there. Anyways, early 90s. So get a load of this. Get a load of this gem. So when I used to DJ, we used to like doing a little song and dance, a little entertainment. So the story is, I used to work at, back then I was working at a day camp, or like counselor in training or whatever it was, leader in training back then. And a friend of mine said that they were going to have a party, but they didn't have anyone to play music, and they didn't want to go out and shell out, a fortune to play music. So I said, hey, let me bring my stuff, right? And my stuff back then was a 2 cassette, a 2 cassette stereo player with 2 CD players, like standalone CD players in a mixer that I had from like my dad's old components that I put all together. And we schlepped it with all the CDs and everything to this basement. We DJ'd this party. And so it was a hoot. We had a great time. And I think that's where a lot of this stuff originally spawned from. This really was a retro party. And you'll see, if we look at the decor, and we talked about decor, look at the blinds, right? The light in the basement, that little kind of speckled globe light, the Christmas lights hanging around. It was awesome. That's right, Dallas. Cassette. Everybody remember what cassette is? Max, are you still here? Max, do you know what a cassette tape was? So for those who don't know what a cassette tape was, it was about this big with 2 holes in it and a tape that went around that the music was recorded on. Yeah, no 8-track. We were just past the 8 tracks, But it was a riot. And this really got me into DJing a lot. And from here, a lot of people came and said, hey, can you come? Do you do this? The other thing I want to point out, can't really tell. Check out that Michigan State hockey jersey. That's pure classic right there. I don't even know where on earth that came from or how it ended up in my wardrobe, but yeah, it was awesome. That was awesome. So that started really in my love of entertainment, right? Trying to entertain. And of course, as we grew up, I started keeping everything, and I mean everything, a real pack rat. Newspapers, concert tickets, movie tickets. And what I did, now these aren't that old, because I have a couple boxes of tickets that I put my stuff in, and most of it is still at my parents' house. But there's a couple here that I went through and I grabbed just a stack of, and I thought it would be fun just to look. Hey, Christina G, just to take a look and see what I had. So here's something, I don't know if Coach, if you're still here, but when the Bills came to Toronto back in 2011, so I had the special kind of staff underground parking, VIP for the Bills in Toronto series. And I have my tickets, one from the Bills and Colts and the Bills and Redskins. These are my my Bills tickets, the only NFL games I ever went to, and they were both in Toronto. So I don't know if you guys remember those. Dallas, you may remember when the Bills came. It was fun, it was exciting, but it was such a bust. And the Colts game, I think it was the Colts game, was preseason. So Peyton Manning played like 5 minutes. He like took a couple snaps and was out. And that was it from him. And it was such a poor in-game experience. I couldn't believe it. It was just crazy. Before I go to the concert tickets, I want to show you this. I think I told the story before. I have a picture here. And if I didn't tell the story, I'll tell it again right now real quick. Do you guys remember the movie It Takes Two. It Takes Two with Kirstie Alley, the Olsen twins. Oh my gosh, what's his name from Police Academy? And Short Circuit. Oh, like why can't I think of his name? It's driving me nuts. Anyways, they were filming It Takes Two in Toronto, and Kirstie Alley was staying next door to us. So hey, Kirstie, if you're watching, Steve Gertenberg, thank you, Dallas. And we became quite friendly with Kirstie Alley because she was next door and very, very friendly. And we went to set one day, and it was funny. We were hanging out, and Steve Gutenberg came by to introduce himself, and we said hello, and we were chit chatting, and I remember he came in and he's doing his whole thing, hello and talking, and I finally got something to say, and I was so starstruck because again, this was early '90s, right? So Short Circuit, Police Academy, huge fan, and all I could muster up saying was, "You were awesome in Short Circuit." And he kind of gave me this look like, yeah, okay, kid. See you later. But he was such a cool guy, such a nice guy. Anyway, so when all was said and done, when Kirstie was finished filming and she was leaving, let me actually wipe a little bit of dust off this. She left a picture for me, an autographed picture. And she said, or I'll show it to you first. Sorry, the reflection is pretty bad. There's Kirstie Alley with the gold signature, and she said, "To Sammy, you're such a hot number. Love, Kirstie." Well, let me tell you, as a teenage boy, that made my day. And to Sammy, you're such a hot number. Love, Kirstie. So funny. But she was super, super nice. So I had that picture upstairs, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Going down the retro lane. I got to talk about that. I got to show it and mention it because it was so awesome. I know she's had her issues, and challenges as of recent, but she was amazing. Yeah, Cheers, fantastic on Cheers. So much fun, and what a great show. The amount of people, right? The amount of stars that came out of Cheers was something else. With Kirstie and Ted Danson and Norm. I don't think anyone knows his actual name. He's just Norm. And the other guy, the psychiatrist guy who I can't stand, who crashed his car a long time ago. Oh, man, I'm horrible with names tonight. Anyways, yeah, Cheers was one of the greatest shows. One of the greatest shows of all time. And I'd love to go. I've never been to the actual Cheers bar. I don't know. Has anyone here in the chat visited the Cheers bar and have, taken the classic tourist picture on the stairs by the Cheers sign? Thank you, John. Fraser Crane, Kelsey Grammer. I hate Kelsey Grammer. I shouldn't say I hate. I've never met the guy, but Kelsey Grammer drives me absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, anybody actually been? You have Spain. That's wicked. That is so cool. That's one of those things I always wanted said. If I ever got there, I'd love to get that classic picture. Christine, yes, and not worth it. Really? Oh, well, that's disappointing. All right, let's check out these concert tickets, and I just kind of grabbed a stack. These are more recent because the real old stuff I still have at my parents'. Stuff from like old Leaf games and really old concerts from Maple Leaf Gardens and stuff. So let's see what kind of old concert tickets we have here. So the first one on top, this one is from Casino Rama. So Casino Rama, for all of our friends down south or overseas, if you're watching the replay, is up north, 2 hours or so north of Toronto. Big casino up there. So this is Weird Al Yankovic. Weird Al from, what is this? 2008, July 25th, 08. Weird Al. And now Weird Al, if you haven't seen Weird Al, he puts on such an amazing concert. Fantastic. Oh, Dallas, I said Maple Leaf Gardens. I have some stories. I'll tell you my Maple Leaf Garden stories. Once I get through these, let's talk some Maple Leaf Gardens. Here's one. This is from 2011. This was from the Rogers Center, which used to be Skydome. This was from UFC 129. So I believe this was the first ever UFC event held in Canada. So that was pretty awesome. I think George St. Pierre was in the main event, maybe not. I don't even remember. But yeah, this was pretty crazy. I quite enjoyed UFC. I don't know if I would see it again in Vegas, but it was pretty cool. Danny say, I have a photo autograph from Claudia Wells from Back to the Future 1. Oh, that's so cool. Dallas, you saw Reba and Dolly at Casino. Casino Rama had some really good shows. Really good shows. Here's one from also 2011. One of the most fun concerts I've had, and this was the second or third time seeing this band. Duran Duran. Gotta love me some Duran Duran. They're awesome. They put on a good show. And then, now it's like some more modern stuff. So also in 2011, okay, this one was, oh no, Triton, you're not. Here we go again. Here we go again. All right, Triton, just for you. Ready? All right, there's your freeze. It was funny when Triton and I did the double freeze. I said he realized that it's actually not so easy to hold a position for 10 seconds. Yeah. So this concert in 2011 was probably one of the worst shows I've ever seen. That's right, MJ. We were going so well. One of the worst shows I've ever seen. Actually, the opening act to this was, who was it? It was Jordan Sparks, like a really, really, really young Jordan Sparks. And she was way better than this performer. And this was Rihanna in the Loud Tour. So I don't know if any of you guys are big Rihanna fans, Riri fans, but I tell you, she spent the entire show singing and dancing to herself. She could have been on any stage in any club or venue in the world, and it wouldn't have made a difference. I was so disappointed with Riri, but that's okay. That is okay. Here we go. Here, this one for Christina G. This is also in 2011. This was the combination. This was actually a pretty stellar event, I'll admit it. The reunion and we'll call it the reignition or the igniting of a new era of boy bands. This was the NKTOB-BSB, New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys. When they teamed up and they did a tour together, was actually pretty stellar. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. Here's one. This is in 2012, and some of you guys may have had a chance to see this because this was a touring show. Well, I guess they're all technically touring shows. Michael Jackson's The Immortal World Tour, Cirque du Soleil. So this was the Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson tour. This was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys haven't seen it, or maybe you haven't even heard of it, but if you've seen it or heard any Cirque du Soleil, this Michael Jackson one was amazing. I actually there was a 2 CD soundtrack they released because they remixed a bunch of his songs for the Cirque du Soleil style. I bought the album. It was so good. So the Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson show was fantastic. First legit concert was BSB. That's awesome. My first legit concert, and so when I say first legit, I mean like real performer, because I don't count like Sharon Lois and Bram, who, Dallas and John, you might be the only ones that know Sharon Lois and Bram, but the first legit like adult concert I ever went to was Bruce Springsteen, The Boss. And that was spectacular. I went with my dad, and my first ever real concert that was not with a parent, where I went with my friends, was to see Spin Doctors at Canada's Wonderland. That's right, Dallas, Sharon, Lois, and Bram. I went to see Spin Doctors, and Spin Doctors had opening up for them was Screaming Trees and Soul Asylum. So I was so amazed with Soul Asylum. They were wicked. But yeah, Spin Doctors was awesome. Love them. Oh, you used to watch them on Nickelodeon? Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God, Danny, you were at Duran Duran in Chile in '93. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. Man, Duran Duran, they were my favorite band. When we talk, I'm going to put these concert tickets down for a second, talk about Duran Duran. When I was younger, and of course a huge Duran Duran fan like everybody, when my grandparents, before they moved to the condo they lived in their house, they decided to have a garage sale. And my cousin and I, because everybody was outside and they thought, the adults thought it would be a really good idea to leave two young kids alone in the house, because what kind of trouble could they get into when they've been rocking out to Duran Duran all day? We took my grandparents' dining room chairs and living room furniture, and we put them together and made our own version of the sailboat from Rio. And we essentially reenacted that video for 2 hours. So that, yeah, it was pretty stellar. Huge Duran Duran fan, and probably still to this day would be in trouble for tearing apart all the furniture and building it into a sailboat. Oh, thank you, AAU. Yeah, 2 more likes. Let's get up to 30. That's awesome. Appreciate it. And I guess I should mention, God, shame on me for not doing the YouTuber's job. If anybody's ninja watching or you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit that subscription button, because we are, I guess, 1 away from 455 already. So yeah, if we can find one friend that wants to hit that button, that would be awesome. So Dallas, here's another one for you. Another one of our Canadian friends. This is now in 2012, seeing at the Air Canada Centre. And this was my 3rd time seeing this particular person. It was Bryan Adams. So Bryan Adams put on one unbelievable show. A spectacular show. Now, I saw him a couple of times. One time I did see Bryan Adams at Maple Leaf Gardens, the beloved Maple Leaf Gardens. And he was actually sick during the show. And I don't remember which song, but he actually stopped performing and asked if anybody in the crowd had some tissues. Instead of just casually like walking off stage, he was like, "Hey, I need a tissue." It was pretty funny. Yeah, that's right. I think it was back in the summer of '69. Back in the summer of '69. Oh, I love Bryan Adams. Oh, Dallas, everything I do it for you. Oh, thought I've died and gone to heaven. Bryan Adams, man, oh, so good. So one year I went to a private fundraiser, and they had Bryan Adams as a performing guest. And they had, so all the tables, they had tons of tables all around, and they had kind of a stage in the middle. And they had made comments that if you want to get up and go stand by the stage to watch the performance, you can do so. So when they announced Bryan Adams was coming, nobody was moving. So we kind of got up and we walked to the stage, and we literally were standing right next to him, looking up as he was on the stage, front row seats. It was amazing. I wish we had smartphones back then, because it was amazing to see Bryan Adams live that close. It was so cool. So cool. I have the song Summer of '69 for Beat Saber. It's such a classic. It is such a good jam. It's a good driving song too. One of my favorite Bryan Adams songs is 18 Till I Die. Oh, 18 Till I Die is one of those songs that a buddy of mine and I, we used to sing. We would put it on and we would just cruise, and we would sing the song at the top of our lungs. And the lyrics, it was just so true. And I'm going to find it here, because now you guys have got me on a Bryan Adams tangent. Oh yeah, so it starts off, oh, so good. Dallas, you can do a PSA. Okay. It was, I want to be young for the rest of my life. Never say no. Try anything twice. Till the angels come and ask me to fly. I'm going to be 18 till I die. 18 till I die. Boom, 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 boom. The drums come in. Oh, it was so cool. Don't mind my singing. I can't sing at all. It goes on. Can't live forever. That's wishful thinking. Whoever said that must have been drinking. Don't want to grow up. I don't see why. I couldn't care less if time flies by. It was so cool. It's just such a good jam. Such a good song. Oh, I have to go listen to that when we get off here. Love that song. All right. No more Bryan Adams because Bryan Adams is so good. So good, Bryan Adams. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're into 2013. Here we go. Back to the boy banders. Some pure New Kids on the Block. This was their solo. Their solo. They're not with Backstreet Boys performance. And again, I know some people hate New Kids and whatnot, but man, they put on one heck of a show. Here's one. We saw one of my wife's all-time favorites. I think she's seen this performer 5 or 6 times, maybe more. This is in 2013. An Evening with Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi, talk about a performer. This guy, like, he performed the crap out of this show. He was so good, and he's always been so good. I've seen him a couple of times. He was always super stellar. Oh, Triton, what are you trying to muster up there? Does anyone want to see the host dance? If you do, put a like in the chat. Oh boy. Donnie Wahlberg. Oh yeah, that's right. Christina G, I forgot you had the I think we talked about this before, and you mentioned about your your cousin, your relationship, and I remember I almost fell off the chair. I can be serious for a moment and make an announcement. Absolutely, Dallas. Dallas, the floor is yours. You can make your announcement. Let's see what Dallas has to say. I only got 2 concert tickets left. Triton, Dallas is trying to make an announcement, and you're gonna floss him out. All right, well, Dallas, while I'm waiting for your announcement, I'm gonna floss this one out. Oh boy! All right, let me move the chair. No, you didn't. Really? A disco floss? Oh man. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Okay, I'm gonna have to take the headphones off. I'm not ready for this. Oh no, you're not. You're not. That's not gonna go through. Will it? I'm waiting for Streamlabs to confirm or deny your request. Oh, it doesn't look like it's going through. Maybe I'm safe. I'm going to give it 1 more minute. Oh, Triton, you're killing me. Okay, so it doesn't look like the Mac has gone through. I don't know why. So you're only getting... Okay, thank God. So I'm safe. So I got a floss disco. Okay, here we go. Floss disco. We got a floss disco. Floss. Oh my gosh. Oh. Whew. God, you guys are too much. I'm giving you a whole B-roll here. You should, Christina G. You totally should. See what happens. You never know. Oh, here, Dallas, here's the announcement. Our Premier Doug Ford is meeting with the Ontario Nurses Union on February 3rd. Please write, post, email, and please support your nurses. Absolutely, definitely support your nurses. They've done an amazing job over the last 2 years. Whew. It's hot. Hey, Sam. Welcome to the party. All right, 2 tickets left. And these were both, I say this a lot, but these were probably both 2 of the most unbelievable shows I've seen. One was JT, Justin Timberlake and the 2020 experience. I actually have some, I think I posted a clip on the YouTube channel from this show where he actually started singing Human Nature by Michael Jackson, and it was absolutely spectacular. The other one, oh, what have I done here? The other one I have, which was an unbelievable show, was Katy Perry in the Prismatic World Tour. Katy Perry put on such an unbelievable show. So cool. So those were kind of the concert tickets I grabbed out of the box just to see and kind of talk through, and it did lead us to a conversation that I want to talk about. The only concerts I went to was Tom Collins and Tour for Figure Skating Champions. Oh, that's cool. That is very cool. Yeah, Dallas for sure. For sure. Yeah, the teachers and nurses are really, God, and I hate to say the unsung heroes of everything that's been going on, because every politician says that, but the teachers and nurses, if you're a teacher or a nurse, keep it up, because yeah, just hats off, kudos to the work that you guys are doing. And I know personally we have some friends in the medical profession, and it's legit, and so the stuff they're putting through and dealing with is amazing. And teachers too. I give teachers a hard time often for, you know, all the the whining and complaining with all the breaks and everything that they have. And I do give teachers a hard time, admittedly, but I say through this, they are doing an amazing job, and hats off for real. Where a lot of us can work remote and be home, they have to get out there and do their thing. So very impressed with the majority of the teaching force. Always some bad apples, but the majority. So I want to talk a little bit, talking about retro, is Maple Leaf Gardens. And if you haven't been to Toronto or you're not a hockey fan, you may not know how special of a place Maple Leaf Gardens was, but every city has their original kind of hockey building, right? Their original old school kind of concrete monster. And it wasn't just for hockey. I mean, there were some unbelievable shows. I think the first Dave Matthews, no, it was my second Dave Matthews show. The first Dave Matthews show I ever saw was literally in a warehouse. And the second Dave Matthews show I saw, which was, I guess, when he started doing bigger arenas, was at Maple Leaf Gardens. I mean, I saw Lenny Kravitz at Maple Leaf Gardens. I saw Blind Melon at Maple Leaf Gardens. Tragically Hip at Maple Leaf Gardens. Host, can we add ballet to the dancing redeem list? I don't know, but I've tried. My ballet is pretty ugly, but sure, why not, right? Why not? Maple Leaf Garden be good. My grandfather had season tickets. Yeah, so we had we had season tickets there as well, through kind of a split scenario, and we used to sit in the greens, center ice. It was like the second or third row, and we were right next to where the photographer sat for the newspapers with the huge like telephoto lens. And even though the seats were absolutely tiny, it was so cool, right? That building, it spoke to you. The way the sounds of the game echoed throughout the building, the way that the fans, the roar was so awesome. And with these old venues, you know, a couple of the coolest things, like the escalators to go up, they were like this big. They're like single file line escalators. I don't know if any of the venues in the States had them. I just assumed they were common. Those single file escalators where, you know, if you were there with a child, you had to put them in front of you or behind you to go up. And the worst part about those venues was in the men's bathroom. I obviously can't speak to how glorious the women's bathroom was, but in the men's bathroom, you know, today you have all your individual urinals, right? Very common. Back then, it was just like a trough. It was like being at a stable, and that is the ongoing joke with that. And again, I got to assume all the old venues were like that, but it was literally just a trough, and everyone would line up and do their business. And it's the nightmares, that, if those walls could talk, I tell you. But that building it was something else. And I remember when they closed it down. I didn't get to go to the last game at the Gardens, but I did go to the first game at the Air Canada Center for both the Leafs and the Raptors. So that was pretty cool. And I was at the last wrestling event at Maple Leaf Gardens, which was pretty cool as well. But I remember when it closed down, and I was so upset because I remember driving down. Was it Church Street? You'd drive down Church Street, and then there was a side street. I think it was called Wood Street or Wood Avenue, and there was like a side parking lot right there, and not a lot of people used to park there. So you go up, and you'd have to go up this huge ramp to the top, and then of course you had to walk down it all the way, and there was just a little side door you'd walk in. Been to a lacrosse game? Yeah, so I used to go. The Toronto Rock played at a Maple Leaf Gardens for a long time, and I actually, not for a long time, for a minute. So I used to do some game operations for the Toronto Rock and the St. Michael's Majors when they played at a Maple Leaf Gardens. That's right, we did have Hulk Hogan at the Gardens. The Beatles, when the Beatles came, they played at Maple Leaf Gardens. So this is how special of a venue this place was. When you take the subway, you take the TTC, the subway, and you'd get off at, I guess you get off at the College Station, and you had the guys roasting the chestnuts just outside of the subway station. That smell of the roasted chestnuts was awesome. And there was a restaurant, right? Was it a Pizza Hut? I want to say it was a Pizza Hut when you got right off the subway. You could go in and get your Pizza Hut. Maybe it wasn't a Pizza Hut, but I'm pretty sure it was. College Station, that's right. In Dallas, was it a Pizza Hut when you came up that set of stairs? Do you remember? I remember you walked out, and right on your left, there was a huge restaurant. For some reason, I swear it was a Pizza Hut. Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, you'd walk down the street, and it was awesome. And after the games, there were like certain moments, right? You had like the 6 or 7 minute mark, and a bunch of people would try and run out to beat the traffic and get out of there. Okay, good. You think so too. And then you had like when the game hit, and you were just backed up forever trying to get out because those escalators were so tiny. But it was cool because, when they closed it down, yeah, it was disappointing. It was heartbreaking. And they reopened it, but I think Ryerson University has taken it over, part of it. So the ground floor is like a grocery store now, but they do have an ice rink up above. So there's still hockey being played there, which is so cool. Roasted cashews and pecans from the cart in New York City is one of my favorite things. Yeah. And you get them in the little brown paper bags. They put all the roasted nuts in. So good. So good. I haven't had roasted nuts in forever. So yeah, that was kind of my Maple Leaf Gardens spiel. Just such an amazing venue. And it's funny today how we've talked about going from, the grandparents or the great grandparents' place to the wrapped couches and sofas and the floors and the pigeons, to concerts, and wrapping it back around to such a great venue like Maple Leaf Gardens. So this has been such an amazing journey for me. But the one thing I want to talk about most of all, in talking about how things have changed, which we really haven't talked about at all today, changes over the years, and that's what I really wanted to talk about. You saw Gretzky there, yeah. Oh, Gretzky was amazing. And that's awesome that you got to see him in that type of a venue too. It's so good. I wanted to really talk about how we change things, or how things have changed over the years. And really it's where I wanted to go when talking about the furniture and the grandparents and how things have morphed. I kind of got myself off topic, but do you remember one of the biggest changes we've made from back then? Remember the old rotary phones? Those were my favorite. And my great grandmother had one of the big ones that stood up. You know, it was probably 3 feet tall, on almost like a podium or like a single pillar. And you pick up the phone, you're like, I love those phones so much. Um, and I kind of wish we still had them to some extent, because the phones today, they're all the same, right? If you even have phones, right? How many people I Most people here probably don't even have a landline, right? I'm sure most people just have their mobile phones or their cell phones. I still have mine. That's right. Yeah, mounted on the kitchen wall. Oh, they were so good. They were just so glorious, and that feeling of going around and running it all through, and then of course messing up one of the last numbers and having to hang up and do it all again was the worst. It was the worst. Hey, give me 1 second. All right, sorry. Had to have a quick private conversation. Yes, no landline touch. The touch tones were okay, but not as much fun. We had back in the day, um, like all of my friends, we all had the white touch tone phones. It was like the exact same phone, but you could get them like with the neon wrap or some of those. Doesn't work, but it's there. Still have one. Yeah, touch tone in the basement. So I still have. We have a couple touch tone phones. I have one phone that's like a diner, and when it rings, it all lights up. But it's actually upstairs in one of the kids' rooms. So my grandmother used to have the Garfield phone that when you'd pick it up, the eyes would open, and when you'd hang it up, the eyes would close. So we still have that, and it still works. You can't dial on it, um, but it still works if you were to pick it up and listen. I love that phone. That's like one of my treasured heirlooms from my grandmother. What my aunt had a million years ago, and I think it got lost in the moves. She had one of the Mickey Mouse phones. That it was the big Mickey, and I forget where the phone was, but I always loved that. It was such a cool thing. Get the hamburger phone. All of those kind of gimmicky phones were so much fun, and they were so cool. And it's like they've all gone away. Um, like mobile phones are cool. Like Blackberries are fine, iPhones are fine. You know, the amount of things we can do and games we can play, and TikToking and all that stuff. Which of course, if you're on TikTok and you haven't followed me on TikTok, uh, go give it a follow. I am currently on TikTok, sitting at 758 followers. So just Samuel B12. I do go live from time to time on TikTok as well. But yeah, Instagram, all those fun things that you could do. I get it, right? I get it. But it's funny how we try, back in the day, we pick up the phone and call somebody. And now it's always text, 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 text. And I tell the kids, get off your phone, get off your phone. Well, I'm talking with my friends. Okay, well, can't you just call them? And it's like, well, they don't really have numbers. Like, well, they have to. I remember as a kid having the little, for us, it was Bell, because Bell was the big phone company, but the little phone book, and you'd have to write your names down and all your phone numbers and put them all in. And that's how you'd really see what was going on and knew, who was what number and all that fun stuff. And if you ever lost that, you were like up the creek because it had all your contacts in it. So there was something for that. And I remember for me, especially when I was a teenager, when you're talking to, the ladies, you get on the phone, you'd crawl into bed and you'd sit and you'd talk and you'd fall asleep and you'd wake up the next morning and the phone would still be at your ear. And sometimes there'd be a dial tone or no dial tone. Sometimes you get up and be like, hello. And the girl on the other end would be like, oh, hey. And it's like, oh my God, we stayed on the phone all night. Like those were the days. I loved that. My parents didn't love it, but it was so cool. Wasn't that a Rolodex? No, not quite a Rolodex. Rolodex was more for the business folk. It was literally just a tiny little book. It was probably not much bigger than this piece of paper, right? And it was a little book. and you have to write very carefully. And it did have pages, so you could, do it alphabetically, but I don't think anyone ever did. We just wrote them all down. But it was so much fun to just spend hours upon hours talking about nothing, getting on the phone and watching 90210 and Melrose Place, and then just talking about everything that was going on, and talking about school and listening to music. You guys used to just, I don't know about you, just get on the phone with somebody and put on some music, and you just sit and listen to music on the phone together. Like, a lot of those crazy things we did just seemed to go away. Trying to mind, it wasn't black, it was gray and blue. But yes, I had a little gray and blue book. And it wouldn't be surprised if it's still at my parents' in my top desk drawer. I should go and check on that. The other thing, which is actually quite comical now, you try to limit screen time. There were only 3 channels on the TV. That's right, Dallas. And you actually had to get up to your TV and go turn the dial. Tick, 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 tick. UHF and VHF were, I think, the 2 frequencies. Love those TVs. But it's funny, I tell the kids now all the time, okay, get off your phones, too much FaceTime, get off of YouTube. I don't understand why you're always on YouTube, right? And now here I am, literally on YouTube all the time. So it's crazy how things have changed, right? And those memories, I remember sitting on the edge of my bed. I had like a little 10-inch, maybe it was 12-inch TV. And I would sit on the edge of my bed playing Super Mario Brothers over and over and over. Sam, we ain't getting off YouTube. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. YouTube is here to stay. But just those memories of sitting and, playing video games and having phone calls and all that stuff. We won't even talk about going outside. We'll save outside for a whole other conversations. 4 channels and rabbit ears. That's right, Hatter. No, Hatter, welcome in. I hadn't seen you, so welcome. Thanks for joining. It's those rabbit ears were crazy, right? And if it's all of a sudden you switch position, sometimes the static would come and you'd have to try and get up and reposition them. Oh, those were the days. Those were the days. I playing GoldenEye, on the little tiny TVs. It was so much fun. So much fun. Well, listen, you guys have been awesome. I don't even know what time are we. So we're just over an hour. I try to keep these around an hour because most of you know me by now. I can just keep rambling on over and over and over for hours and hours because it's so much fun. And if the Prime Minister was on your right, was screwed, he would be on every channel. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Triton with the freeze. Freeze to wrap it up. All right, we'll give you. Oh, Coach, stay here. Don't go anywhere. I got to do Triton as freeze. Okay, Coach, did you see earlier when I showed my tickets? Were you here for the tickets? Because I had something here that I wanted to show you, and I wasn't sure if you were still tuned in or if you had moved on already. So we'll see if we'll see. So I'll show it again, Coach, anyways, just in case. Oh my gosh, more redemptions coming. There it is. My gosh. Oh boy. Okay. I'll get the floss. Let me show this to Coach. Coach, do you remember when the Bills came to Toronto and they did that home away from home series thing? So I actually went to a couple. These were the only NFL games I ever went to. And Coach, I wanted to show these. I wanted you to see. I have my tickets from the Bills. Oh, Eleanor with the shimmy and a floss. Oh my gosh. All right. We got the Bills versus Colts and the Bills versus the Redskins. Tickets, I still have those. And Coach, of course, because you know how I roll. You got the VIP staff parking for the Bills Toronto series. So I thought you'd like that. You went to every game there. So, Coach, I probably saw you. I was sitting in 112. Where were you sitting? 112, row 22. They were. I was not impressed. I'll be honest. Was not impressed with those games. All right. So what do I owe you? I owe you a floss and a shimmy. Is that it? A floss and a shimmy. All right. Oh, gosh, you guys are making me so tired. I'm just trying to wrap up. All right. A floss and a shimmy. A shimmy floss. Okay. Here we go. All right. There's your shimmy floss. All right. As I was saying, thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. I know we haven't done this in a little while because last week we really just talked about Adam Sandler, which was pretty awesome. The next couple weeks are going to be a little weird because of the hockey schedule. So I'm trying to knock out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought there were more than that. I don't know. There's a bunch of games that we're going to knock out over the course of February. And due to road trips and whatnot, they're not all Saturday nights. So there might be some that I do on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So we'll have to see when we're going to do retro. But some of the games that we have coming up that we're going to call for hockey. So we have New Jersey, February 1st. There's going to be Carolina we're going to do. Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Montreal, Detroit, the Seattle Kraken. We got 2 Buffalo games coming up that we're going to do, Coach. Buffalo, March 13th and March 2nd. We're going to do both those Sabre games. As well, we got Florida, we got Boston. And then for CeeLo, we're going to do, it's not till March, but we're going to do the Nashville Predators game. So there's going to be a ton of hockey coming up. Triton, absolutely, I will check it for sure. So lots of hockey coming. We're going to really try and ramp those out and kick those out. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you again for all the subscriptions. We are aiming to get to 500, and we got 94 days to do so. So again, if there's one friend who happens to be here that hasn't subscribed, please hit that subscription button so get to 455. That would be awesome. And lots more. There's so much stuff that I want to push out that I've been trying not to. I know we just pushed out a new cooking video making some chicken hearts, which apparently are wonderful, but they're not for me, but they look really good, and the kids love them. Some Lego. We got some Lego stuff coming soon. There's just so much. So thank you all so much. And that's right, Dallas. If everybody tells 2 friends, tell them to come and subscribe. Share the channel out. Follow me on Instagram, SamwellB12. Follow me on TikTok. We're just growing everywhere. So this is going to start blowing up even more than it has. And while the next couple months are going to be hockey, oh my gosh, I didn't even mention, of course, Team Canada versus Team USA, Olympic hockey. Did I write that date down? Maybe I didn't write it down. A lot of the Olympic hockey is going to be early in the morning, but Team Canada and Team USA actually play on a Saturday around noon. So we're going to do the Team Canada, Team USA Olympic hockey game, which will be fun. So there's so much content to come. I thank you all so much. And of course, as Dallas said, tell 2 friends, tell them where to find us, and it's free. All you have to do is hit that subscription button, or I'm going to send Pierce after you. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys all so much. Coming up very shortly, I think at 9:30, Triton has a premiere coming up of a new video. Triton, if you have the link handy, you want to drop it in, please feel free to do so if it will allow you to do so. Make sure we all go check out Triton's premiere, because that'll be awesome. And as well, I know I've gotten so much love from so many people. Make sure, for those of you that are here, if you haven't followed Triton, make sure to follow Triton. Make sure to go check out CeeLo as well. Give him a subscription. I know he's so close to hitting a milestone number. And of course, go get Sean Urban. On the Go with CeeLo, Sean Urban. Go hit them up. Give them a subscribe. And more important than anything, you guys are all subscribed to everybody. The best thing you could do is, if you have some extra time, open an extra browser window, click on some videos and just let them run. That extra watch time helps so much. So again, thank you everyone so much. There's the link for Triton. Give it a click. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all very soon. Thanks, guys. Take care.